Number 119 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with Geeks on Tour.
That's us.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Okay, let's get into a quick tip right away.
All
What do you
right.
have?
A photo book.
Ooh.
So this is something new from Google Photos. And I ordered one right away as soon as we got home. So my quick tip is, how do you make this? First, I'll show it to you a little bit. It is just that, a photo book. As of right now, there's no ability to put any text in it. I'm sure that will be coming, but right now it's just photos. But I think the quality is beautiful.
Oh, it's fantastic. I when we got it, I just sat and looked at it several times through there.
So how do you make it? It's part of Google Photos. You just open Google Photos, you select the photos you want to put in the book, or as I did, and I'm going to show you, I just opened my album where I had already selected my best photos. You click the menu, create photo book. You can review what it did, or as I did, I just said, good enough, click order.
Yeah, I would have added a couple of pictures or maybe taken a couple out, but
overall, I probably should have, but I just wanted to know what it was going to be if I just said, okay, send me a book. And that's what I did for this book. So you can see on the screen here, a soft cover starts at $9.99 for 20 pages. And then it's 35 cents for each additional page. And you can get a hardcover book for $20 and 65 cents for additional pages. So I'm just going to use the computer to show you how I did this. And you go to Google Photos. This can be done on a phone or a tablet as well. And I, like I said, just went to my album that we made of our Europe trip, which is called 2017-05, Italy, Croatia, Slovenia, and Berlin. Notice that there are 444 items in here. You can't make a book that big.
No. How many are you limited to?
100.
Okay.
But here are my selected photos, my 444 photos that I selected for this album. You just click the three-dot menu, create photo book, and then click the right arrow. And it says only 100 photos can be printed. 100 photos have been suggested for you. That's the way Google works. It likes to do everything for you. View book preview. And if you're, I figure those 444 were the ones I had already chosen. So if they pick 100 out of those, that's good enough for me. I just click on cart. And it says, okay, with the 80 extra pages, that's going to be $38. You click checkout and give them a credit card and an address, and you get this book in the mail. That's it.
Wow.
And it literally took me 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And now the longest part was it took 8 days to get here in the mail.
Well, they had to walk it from somewhere in
Oregon. I don't know. But that is the Google Photo Book.
Amazing. I like it. All right. So, hi everyone, I'm Jim, and here together with my wife Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. And do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is on a regular basis. So we came up with this weekly show or weekly class, I think it is, where we pick a topic each week and teach you that. Our website is geeksontour.com, and all our content is collected there.
and visit. Whoops. So, Chris, where are we now?
We're at home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but we just got back, what, 2 weeks ago, 10 days?
Something like that, yeah.
And this coming week, we have to get back on the road and head to Indianapolis for the FMCA Summer Rally. We will be in our new RV.
That should be fun.
The little guy.
The little guy. Very cool. All right, so on today's show, we have albums with Google Photos. Our beginner's lesson is going to be about Google Photos albums. And if you have questions during the show right now, you can use the YouTube chat window. And I see a few people in there. And Bill says, yep, we still have Pony Express delivery, but it is a reasonable way to get your treasured memories. Absolutely. Do you have to have pics in an album, or can you do it from photos?
You can do it from scratch. You can select individual photos and then click the three-dot menu, or even from the assistant. Photo book is one of the creation. So there's lots of ways to do it. I think doing it from an album is the easiest.
Yes, and Marie, this is the chat, and everything's good. So, all right. Let's see. You ready? We do invite you to become a member. You can do that at geeksontour.com. Just click on the link to become a member. Very good idea. And let's see. Weekly class. Our website is Geeks on Tour.
And the archives of all of these weekly classes are there.
Cool. So, Chris, you ready for the beginner's lesson?
Yep.
You get into it.
So what I'm going to do for this beginner's lesson in photo albums is in 3 parts. Number 1, I want to just show you our example album, the one of our Europe trip. Number 2, I want to give you a little bit of the background, the structure, try to understand what albums are all about. And number 3, just the step-by-step of how to make an album using Google Photos. So our Europe vacation was awesome.
It was.
We talked about it a bit last week as well, but we definitely want you to see our photos. Now, we just picked the best photos. I took 2,000 pictures, and I think Jim took nearly that many as well. So the album was mostly important for just picking the best photos for you to see. They are in chronological order. They include maps and text. You can browse the album, or you can click on individual photos to see them bigger. So let me show you how. I'm going to go to geeksontour.com, and you can follow along by going to geeksontour.com, and here is a link to our European photo album right here. And that is one of the things I'll be teaching you how to do, is how to put a link out there. When you first go to the link, you might, if you are logged into your Google account, you might see a message asking you to join. You do not have to join an album in order to view it. If you do join, there are 2 benefits. Number 1, you'll be able to add comments. And I'll show you a couple comments as we scroll too. All these people have joined the album. Number 2, you will get notifications in your Google Photos Assistant whenever we add new content.
And I think that's the key to the shared albums when you join, because you can add pictures while you're in process. And that's how we did it.
And it's kind of fun. When you get a notice saying, hey, Chris and Jim have added more pictures, you can go look and basically follow along with us as we travel, because we added pictures as we traveled. And notice these text blocks. So you can just scroll, and it says days 1 and 2. I've always wanted to go to Italy, blah, blah, blah. And we'll be visiting Croatia, where Jim's grandfather was born. And then you see our Florence photos. It tells you what the hotel is where we stayed. And you can just scroll through. If you see something that you want to look at more closely, for example, a video, you can tell a video because of this little triangle and the number. Now, just hovering my mouse over a video on the computer starts the motion playing. But if you click on it, oh, and you won't be able to hear the sound because of the way this Hangout works. But this was a beautiful violinist. Oh, it was good. And notice this says there's a comment on here. So you can click there and you can read the comments. Then to go back to the album overview, you move your mouse and this left arrow in the upper left appears. Click on that and you're back to the album overview. Okay, and it goes on and on and on.
And on and on.
And on and on and on. But because of this way that you can look at the overview and read the text and see the maps, you can follow our whole trip in not too long. You can just look at the parts of it you want. All right, so that is our album. The link to it is right on geeksontour.com homepage. So now I'm going to go back. Now, what's the idea? So now a little bit of the comments on just what albums are. Do you remember back before digital photos when you had to get prints made? And I don't know about you, but my technique, I had a bunch of shoe boxes. I just filled them up with shoe boxes. And there came a time when I just had to fill up a whole suitcase full of photos. Sometimes when you got them processed, they'd even give you duplicates.
Right.
And
sometimes three.
Sometimes three, yeah. And they would just all get dumped into the suitcase. Now, when I wanted to look at my memories, though, I wouldn't open the suitcase. I had taken the time to figure out my best photos and put those in albums. So it's the albums that you look at when you want to review your memories. And that's the same concept. So in Google Photos, this suitcase is called your library. And it is private. You cannot share the entire suitcase of your library. Until last week. And they did add the ability to have one partner. You can have one partner sharing your entire library. But other than that, it is locked. It is private to you.
And that's brand new.
That's brand new as of
Right.
last week. But albums, you can share. Or not. You don't even have to. You can when you first create an album, it's private to you as well. It's just an organized subgroup. All right. So this is before digital. You had suitcases full, or maybe a whole attic full. I know some people have a big steamer trunk full of photos, but hopefully you've made albums, and I refer to those as named albums. Now, in Google Photos, that is called All Photos, or it's also called the library. And the difference between Google and this suitcase is that photos are in date order, most recent first. It is private. You cannot share the entire library, except with one person. That just happened this last week. If you delete a photo from the library, that will be gone from albums. The library is the source. Notice these red arrows here saying that these named albums are just groupings or subsets of your library. You create these albums and you can share them. Now, there's another kind of album that we're not going to get into today, and that is the automatic albums. That's just where Google dynamically groups people, places, and things together. So how does it look in Google Photos? In Google Photos on the web, picture on the left here, All Photos is clicking on that button called Photos, and you will see your entire library, your entire lifetime of memories. Or if you want to just see the albums, you click on Albums. On a smartphone or mobile device, you will see Photos and Albums as options down at the bottom. What about deleting?
Mm,
If you delete, so all photos is where your photos are stored. Albums are just a grouping, a subsets of those. So if you delete a photo from all photos, it's gone.
yeah.
It's no longer available. It's like you took the record out of the jukebox. It cannot be played anymore in any playlists. So, but if you remove a photo from an album, that is just unlinking it to that album. It is still in your photos. That's a very important concept, and I'm going to show you that in detail or in demonstration. So any questions on just that concept stuff?
I don't see any there yet. Bill
Okay.
says we received notices of your album as you put up pictures and when someone made a comment. He turned off the sound and left the vibrate on. It was kind of neat to feel the wish you were here vibrations. And that was
Cool.
on a Samsung S3 phone. Okay. And Sue says hi from rainy Ottawa, Ontario. I'm sorry it's raining on you. All right.
All right, I'm going to do some demonstration now. And I'm going to start with an Android tablet to show you how in Google Photos you would view the library, you would view albums, how to make an album, how to add more photos, and then how to share with Link. And then I'll come back to the computer. So first is the Android tablet. It's a Samsung tablet. There we go. And I just open up Google Photos. And I am starting out viewing the entire library. The library is just this photos here. If I want to see albums, I tap on albums. And there are all my albums. I have lots of albums. Photos, you go back to photos. One thing I want to show you here. So I could look at all my Europe pictures in my library. I've taken some photos. So here is where they start. You can tell because we're on a plane that we're actually where they end. So this says Tuesday, June 20. That's when we got home. And just to give you an idea of how many there are, I'm going to pretend to select them, or I will select them, but you touch and hold on the first one. And then as you drag across, they are all getting selected. And if I just hold my finger down at the bottom, they keep scrolling up. And notice how the number in the top left is going up. So this is how I know that I did this before. It'll take a minute. I'm not sure that I'll go all the way through.
444.
Well, no, this is my library. This is not the album.
Okay.
This will go to 2,400.
Well, I don't think you need to go that high.
But the point is, I don't think you want to watch a slideshow of 2,400 pictures, right? So that is what the album is for. Instead of looking at the library of 2,400 pictures, I'm going to just tap the X to deselect those. And instead of that, you would go to the album, and we see that the album for Italy has 444
That's
items.
where I got that number.
Yeah, so that's much more reasonable group of pictures to watch.
And these were the best pictures, or the ones that we chose as the best pictures. The ones that Chris chose as the best pictures.
Well, now, like this one isn't really a picture, and it's certainly not a beautiful picture, but I thought it was important for telling the story. This one was a screenshot of our T-Mobile message that we got as soon as we were in a different country. So it's either your prettiest pictures or the images that are important for telling a story. That's what an album is for. So how do you make a new album? Well, you can do it from two directions. You can either, I could go to the assistant and say, create new album, and then go and find all the pictures. I call that pulling. So I open the structure and then I go find the pictures. But I prefer to find the photos first and then make the album from the photos that I select. So I'm going to make something completely different here. I'm going to make an album about our new little road trek. So I have a picture here. I long press to get it selected. Then I can select that one, and that one. So I have 4 pictures selected now from my library. Then you tap the plus and create new album. So as I say, that's what I call push. I selected the pictures first, I create a new album, and I'm doing this specifically for this episode of What Does This Button Do? So I'm going to refer to it as 119 and then Road Trek. Road Trek. Road Trek. And when you're done, you tap the little check mark. So now I have an album with 4 pictures in it. And what if I want to add more? Well, once again, there's 2 ways. I can be viewing the album and tap this little button at the top that looks like an image with a plus, and that shows me my library, and I can get more pictures. So like there's one we took of the road trek down at the beach, and tap done. And that's adding a 5th picture to this album. Or, as I say, my preferred way is to be viewing my pictures, because then you can search and all sorts of other stuff. So I want that picture of the road trek down at the beach, and that one. And that's all of them from that morning at the beach. There's a couple more. I just have 4 pictures selected. Now it's, what do you want to do with them? I want to add them, and be very careful here.
This drives me nuts.
Me too.
See at the top there, it says create new. It's so easy to touch that.
See, I just did that just by pointing it to it. No, I don't want to create a new album. I want to add to the 119 Road Trek album. So whatever pictures I selected get added to that to the selected album. All right. And that's it for the Android for the moment. And I want to go back to the computer to show you how I would share that album. Now, I could do this on the phone or tablet as well, but this is just easier to show you on the computer. So I'm going to go back. And now the computer is still looking at the Italy album. So, and I don't even have a menu, but what do I have? I have something called Google Photos in the upper left. If I click on that, it gets me back to see my menus. And if I go to albums, I should see the 119 Road Trek album, the one with 8 items that I just created on the tablet. I want to share that. And I think, and so that's the share button. On an iPhone or an iDevice, it would be the square with the up arrow in it. And I don't want to share it with an individual person. I want to get a link that I can post somewhere so that anybody who clicks on the link can see it. So get link and copy. So I'm going to put that link into the comments of this YouTube video that y'all are watching right now. So if you want to see what it looks like to view an album that's been shared. I'm just going to put it in the comments.
Over on the right.
Oh. And here is the link to the album created during the show. All right, so that is now in the chat box. If anybody wants to look at it, you are welcome to. And then I'm going to go to the iPhone. And notice that the album I created on an Android tablet was instantly available on the computer. And now I'm going to go to the iPhone and we'll see the same album there. I just open up Google Photos. I am looking at my photo library here, but if I tap on albums, I'm now looking at the albums. And there is the 119 Road Trek album. And I can continue to do some stuff with it.
That's really cool.
So I'm going to show you what I mean by what happens when you delete.
All right.
So the only picture in here that has a person in it is this one of Jim. So this will be really clear what is going on when I delete it. So if I tap on that and then the three-dot menu, remove from album, notice that there is no trash can available. So I can't delete it completely, but I can just remove from album. So now I look at the album and that picture of Jim in the Road Trek is no longer there. But is it gone completely?
No, it should still be in your library, right?
Right. So if I go to photos instead of albums, there is that picture of Jim inside the Road Trek. And if I say, oh, yeah, I think I do want it in the album, I can now tap the three-dot menu and add to album and put it back in the 119 Road Trek.
Too cool.
And just while I'm at it here, you might have noticed that I have this test 119. So that's what I was doing in preparation for this. Let's get rid of that so it's not in our way. I can tap the three-dot menu and delete album. Deleting an album is permanent. Photos and videos that were in a deleted album remain part of your photos library. So that's fine. I'm just deleting that structure that is the album, but my pictures are still there. And now we're just looking at the one that I've just created. But now so what am I looking at here? Am I looking at albums or am I looking at my photo library?
Looks like you're looking at all of your photos.
Yeah, this is my entire photo library. And here is the picture of Jim inside the Road Trek. If I tap the trash can, moving this item to the trash will also remove it from any places it's shared. It's just gone. When you tap the trash can, you're saying this photo is garbage. I don't want it. I don't want to see it anywhere. So if I look at the album now, that photo of Jim sitting inside the Road Trek is gone. But what do you think? Might there be a way to say, oops, I didn't mean that? Well, when you delete something, it's moved to the trash. You can see the trash under this three-line menu. There's the trash. And they're in date order by date the photo was taken. So that's why it's not up at the top. This was taken a few days ago, so it's down here. If I tap on that photo and the three-dot menu, I can restore. And here's the cool thing. just by just by pulling it out of the trash, it is back in the album. I think that's kind of cool.
That is.
Because you kind of think if you did an oops that you'd have to get it back and then put it back in the album. But no, just getting it back makes it work. So that's deleting. Now I want to add some more photos. Still using the iPhone. I want to compare. I want to go get some photos of our older RV. So that's not something that is immediately in my photos. We have to go back a ways. So what if I just search for RV?
How do you spell RV?
I just search for RV, and that should get us photos. Is that cool or what? That gives us photos of RVs. And if I go way back, it might even get us the photos of our very first RV. Now, you get a lot of results in search that has nothing to do with RV, or that you can't figure out where it came from, but you will also get true results as well. So here's a nice photo of our bigger RV. Now it says 4 selected. I didn't think I selected anything but this one, so I must have made a mistake. I'll tap the X, and then I'll just tap, oh, that was a really pretty one there.
Mm-hmm.
So I will long press to select that one. And that's a nice one of our old RV towing our car. And that's a nice one. Okay, so now I want to add those 3 that are selected. I want to add to the existing album. That was the plus. Now, if you tap on the 3-dot menu, you'll see not what you're looking for. So that's okay. You just say, whoops, I guess it's not under the 3-dot menu. What else could it be under? How about the plus? I do not want to create a new album. I want to add those to the 119 Road Trek. Okay, now let's go back and look at the album. Why are these that I just added at the top? Because an album is meant to tell a story. So it starts with the earliest picture and goes to the latest. And that's fine. So I now want to add some text. The way you add a text block is you first have to edit the album. That's under the 3-dot menu, edit album. Now I have some more options up at the top. So text, and I will say, this is our old motor home. We traded it in on the road trek, and check mark. Now I can move that around. I think that should be at the very top. So I'll just touch and hold on it and drag it up. Now that's the first thing. And the other thing that you want to be able to add is maps. So you can add text wherever you want. I'll add one more and say, this is our favorite county park. And that needs to be down here. And then a map, that's this little location marker. Now you have 2 choices. Location just, and that's Easterland Park. And it gets that from the geotag of the photo. But big deal. Just a little red marker and it says Easterland Park. Who knows where that is? So I normally use the map option. And we know that we will be leaving here and going from Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale to Indianapolis. And done. Come on. Indianapolis, Indiana. Why isn't it getting it? Indiana. I spelled it right, didn't I?
Yeah, I thought so.
Indianapolis.
There. Indiana.
Ah, the Motor Speedway is exactly where we're going. Okay, now I have a check mark. You're looking to have a check mark to get it added to your album. And now you check mark to save the whole album. And if you want to click that link that is in the YouTube, then you will see that map and the text blocks that I added. And I just do think this is an awesome way to tell a story. Pictures, maps, text, and you can order them. You can
You know,
arrange
we're not
them.
actually going to the Motor Speedway. We're going to the fairgrounds.
Oh.
Could be important.
Okay. There are lots of times rallies at the speedways.
That's true.
Okay.
All right.
I'm done.
All right. Well, let's see. There are a couple of questions or a couple of statements there. If you delete a photo from your phone after it has been saved in Google Photos, will it also be deleted from Google Photos?
Okay. Good question. Something that you got to make sure you understand before you go deleting photos. You can delete from the phone without touching the Google Photos copy, and that's what it sounds like you want. But you cannot do that with the trash can.
Right.
If you click the trash can, you are deleting from everywhere.
Right.
If you use the free up space or the delete from device.
But you want to make sure that those pictures are actually backed up to your Google Photos. And I do that by looking at it on a computer, a browser, or another device that's logged into the same account, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. And I've written several articles on that. If you go to our Learn Google Photos.
All right. Let's see. Bill says, I keep getting warnings about my library. I get in there and remove large video files that I've already backed up. Pretty soon I fill that space up. I sure wish they would increase the free limit. I'm not sure what he is.
The free limit is unlimited. So are you sure you are using the high quality storage setting? High quality storage setting, you have unlimited, because the main purpose of Google Photos is to be a forever home for your lifetime of photos and videos. So
up to 1080.
1080p.
Mm-hmm. So it's high resolution. All right, may we share our library with another of our own Google accounts to assure they are backed up, or to divide pictures with friends?
Oh. Well, this sharing a library with one partner is brand new, and
it'll probably
in
change.
My opinion, the jury's kind of still out as to whether it's something I recommend. We are doing it, and we're working through it and see
we'll let you
what
know.
It's really good for. But for me, I think a better way of having an extra backup is to use something different, such as OneDrive. That's what I use for a secondary backup or a real backup.
So Chris is saying I need to change size to high quality.
Yes, absolutely.
For unlimited, yes, and it really is high quality. I can't tell the difference from a photo that's been compressed using the Google compression algorithm and one that's high quality.
And there is a way also to retroactively change the size to high quality. On a computer, when you go to the Google Photos menu, there's a recover storage button, which will retroactively compress all of your old photos.
Right. One thing, my Pixel phone, because it is a Google phone,
that's a special.
It's a special instance where all of my pictures are backed up in original size. Now it's
unlimited for free because it's a Pixel.
So And I'm on Project Fi, so it's one other piece to the puzzle. All right, where are we? Good question. Well, we do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's really called Geeks on Tour TV at YouTube, but the best thing to do is just go to youtube.com and search for Geeks on Tour, and you'll find us. Okay. Also, if you're on Facebook, please go to our page. Just search for Geeks on Tour at Facebook and remember to like us there. All right. App of the week. This was fun. We were trying to figure out what app I wanted to do for this week. And I was thinking, when on our way back from Indianapolis, we're going to be in the path of this solar eclipse. There's a solar eclipse that's going across the whole United States this year. Very unusual for a total solar eclipse to be all the way across the country. And it starts over there in Oregon and it makes that sweep across the country. And we plan on being in South Carolina for that on our way back to Florida. It really is a neat app. And there are a few apps out there that you can check out. NASA has one. This one's kind of a lightweight one. It says there's only 50 days, so that's today. It will be on August 21st, and for us, it will be at about 1:15 in the afternoon when it starts. And the totality should start about 2:43:45, about. Just about. So the location that I chose, and that's just off of I-95 on our way back to Florida, is in the path of totality. Now, I'm hoping that there's going to be some parking for us in that area.
It might be a little crowded.
We don't know. There is an RV park right there, right on the line. I think it's pretty neat. And then, if you're on either side of the line, you're going to get pieces of it that might not be total. But one thing you want to be sure of is your eyes are important. So make sure that you have good
special
viewing glasses, and you can actually buy those viewing glasses from this website. So eclipse2017.org. Highly recommend
it. And if
it.
you have never seen a total solar eclipse, don't just wave it off. They are extremely moving. It's only 2 minutes. I've seen 3 now in my lifetime, and it's made me cry each time. Even it's coming, you know exactly what it is, but when the world gets dark in the middle of the day, it's freaky.
The only time I've seen a total solar eclipse was I was just a little kid, or in grade school, I think, and that was in Virginia, and that was some years ago.
As you know, I actually went on eclipse tours in Turkey and in Chile.
Yeah, well, you went with your mom.
Mom did those kind of things.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So check it out. I think it's a really cool thing that's happening this year, and I don't remember when the next time it's going to happen, but we might not even be around for that one.
And yes, Oregon will be first. And Oregon, I'm sure, would be a good place to view it if you're on the desert side.
Right.
Because you want a clear sky.
Yeah, we're not so sure. It is weather related because you can't see through the clouds. But it'll be shown live on several websites.
Ooh.
So you can check it out just in case.
Solar eclipse webcams.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Well, did you learn something? I know I do. Our questions. Review questions. Google Photos' primary purpose is to what? Make movies, edit photos, store your lifetime of photos, or share albums?
Well, it can do all of that, but its primary purpose is to be a forever home for your lifetime of memories. Free, unlimited storage.
So which of these is true? To appear in photos, a picture must be in an album, or to appear in an album, a picture must be in photos?
B. Photos is the storehouse. If it's not there, it's not anywhere.
Okay. Now, the first step to adding a map to an album is what?
You must be in album edit mode. So if you're just viewing an album, you click the three-dot menu and edit album. Then you get the options to add a map or add text.
The easiest way to share your photos is to make an album, then do what?
I say share with a link. Then you can send the link to whoever you want. You can share by sending directly to email or to a text message.
There are a lot of choices when you do the share.
But when you get a link, then you can do all of the above.
Okay, and once you've shared an album, can you add more photos? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's so easy. So for example, when we were in Europe and we would take a really nice photo with a phone, we'd say, oh, I know that's a good one. And we might add it to the album right then.
Mhm.
And yes, anybody who had joined our album got a notice that we'd added a photo. Cool stuff.
It is cool stuff. So, Chris, what's the web page that lists all of our weekly classes?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly class.
And the web page that lists all of our recent newsletters?
Also geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news. Newsletters is under there.
Cool. And the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour.
Our complete learning library of prepared tutorial videos. You get to ask questions in our member forum. You get the show notes for all these shows. This is 119. So basically, it's a book on learning smartphones and tablets now. And speaking of books, we have 7 ebooks that are all part of the membership.
All right. Very cool. We do, again, invite you to become a member. Just go to our website at geeksontour.com and click on the link to become a member. Next time, we're going to have a show, maybe. So we're going to be on the road. We plan on, so the next Sunday is July 9th. And if we have the bandwidth that we need, so just watch for the posting and the show notes on Wednesday at thebuttonshow.com. And if you have an idea for a topic, go ahead and use the suggestion box at thebuttonshow.com.
Now, I did notice that there are a couple new suggestions there. So just if one of them was yours, I have noticed them, and we will put them into a show sometime.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. What does this button do? I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour.
What does this button do?
Don't touch that button.
Hey.
Hey. See what you did? Oh, my